Hello booktube, hello book friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel and another video. This is my reading week video for the week ending the 1st of March, which means another month has passed. Don't quite know where March, where February has gone. January seemed to be interminably long, and February seems to have just shot by. So I don't know. It's March. What can I say? And I think I've had a reasonably good reading week this week. I haven't finished a lot of books, but I have kind of been reading a lot. And I think by the time this goes up, this will be the fourth video that I've posted this week. I did a couple of tag videos and my March reading plans. I'm a little bit behind on tag videos, so apologies if you've tagged me recently. I'm working to correct that, but obviously it takes time, and you know it will get there. Let's put it that way. So I think I mentioned this last week, which was the I think it's the second Inspector Maigret novel, and it's the late Monsieur Gallet, if I've pronounced that correctly. And this was I really enjoyed this. It was both a very a simple crime, but also very complicated. If that I know that's a complete contradiction, but you know, the ultimate premise was the ultimate resolution was very simple, but getting there was horrendously complex. But yeah, it was a really good read. I think it's interesting. It's because it's one of the early novels. I think Simenon is focused purely kind of just on Maigret as the central character. So there aren't the Lucas and Janviers and the other characters other detectives who are part of his squad in the later novels. This is mostly just him. There's other people. There are other incidental, like there's a forensic scientist, and there's like the coroner and people like that. But ultimately, it's mostly just Maigret solving the crime by himself. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed that. It was a good read. It kind of started. I felt I was slipping into a slump, so it kind of got me going. And also, what helped was this book, which is The House in Cornwall by Noel. I think it's pronounced Streatfeild. It's field, but with the I and the E around the other way. And this is a republished last year, I think. It's a lovely hardback with, and it's got fantastic end papers in as well. So this is a children's novel. Noel Streatfeild is probably best known for the children's book Ballet Shoes, and then there are other books on the same theme of shoes. So there's Ballet Shoes, I think there's the White Shoes, but a lot of her books are kind of, they're sort of Swallows and Amazons-esque, I suppose, in that they're, you know, children saving the not saving the world, but you know, they are ultimately the focus and the saviors in the story. And this is I love the names of these four kids. It's John, Sorrel, Wish, and Edward. So that's the kind of family, and I think it's John and Sorrel are twins, so they're about 14, and then Wish and Edward are a little bit younger, so they're sort of like 12 and 7 or 8 or something like that. And they are sent to stay with their, I suppose he's their half uncle. He's their father's half brother, anyway. So, in Cornwall, in a what can only be described as a stately home, because it seems to have so many rooms in it. And when they get there, they quickly realise that all is not as it seems, and that they are effectively prisoners in the house. Although they are taken out and so on, they are very strictly supervised, and not allowed to buy paper and all sorts of things. So there's obviously something going on which they're not directly privy to, and of course that's the working out what's going on and so on is the kind of core of the story. I really enjoyed it. It's quite a short book. It's only it's under 200 pages, 186 pages. I think what's interesting is the kind of conclusion to the story, and all of the kind of action at the end takes place in a very short number of pages. Like if it's 186 pages, the action at the end is in the last like 20 pages, which I thought was really interesting. It's like you spend a lot of time building the story, and I actually thought at one point, oh, this isn't going to conclude. There's I've got to read another book to get the conclusion to the story. But no, it does all finish in this, and it's fascinating. I don't know whether that's a factor of it was published in 1940, and I suspect paper was on ration then. So yeah, I don't know. I wonder whether that was the reason that they only had a set number of pages, or whether that's just a feature of children's books of that era. That's how they were written. You'd spend quite a lot of time building the story and then have all the action at the end in a very quick finish. But it was still good. Really enjoyed that. That was good. And then I picked up, still feeling a bit slumpy, so I picked up that's not going to show up, a Louise Penny novel. So an Inspector Gamache mystery, A Fatal Grace. And I enjoyed this. This was a good read. I finished it last night, I think. It was just, it's the second, running a coincidence with Maigret here. It's the second novel in that series. And I don't want to give too much away, obviously, too many spoilers, but the murder victim is really detestable, and I was like, I mean, just like, you can tell from the blurb what's going to happen, so it's not a surprise. But it's like, just please hurry up and get rid of her, because she's so horrible. And it takes like 100 pages for the crime to happen. So it's it's 400 and a bit pages long. So the first quarter of the book is basically Louise Penny telling us how awful this person is, and some of the awful things that she's done and is doing. And I really was like, oh God, you can see almost why someone would want to kill her. And obviously somebody does. And then it's the investigation. I enjoyed it. It was good. I'm not going to say any more than that, because I will start to to get into spoiler territory, but I would recommend it. If you like sort of cozy mystery type novels. And there are, if you like that, there's, I don't know, 20 odd in that series, and I've only just read the second one, so I've got some more to go. What I've also started reading this week, and I'm only reading I'm reading Those Who Marched Away, which is basically diaries and journals of lots and lots of, I don't say famous, but people who are famous enough to have had their journals published at some point, and that's not necessarily because they're a public figure, but it's also because of when the diaries were written and are considered. So Anne Frank's, there are entries from Anne Frank's diary in here, for example. So that sort of thing. And what I've started doing is just reading an entry on from each day. So I kind of started middle of the week, so whatever that was, the 26th of February, and I'm just reading that day's entries, and then there's also a reference in the back as to who people were. Some of them are anonymous, so you don't actually know. It just gives you the where that was, where that entry was found and so on. But it's not necessarily clear. So might have been on a diary found on a battlefield, and there's no kind of clear. There's nothing in there to identify who it's from, and it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. So, and it, I was trying to think. It was when it was published. It was originally published in 2004, and it covers like military, basically conflict up until about that time. So there's everything from there's the Alamos in here, the Boer War is in here. I think it must be the first Iraq. Was it the second Iraq War? No, it's the second Iraq War. That's in here. So all sorts. And I'm just say reading an entry. There are kind of like 3-4 entries for each day, or each date. And so I'm kind of just reading the entries for what. So today, I'll read the entries for the 1st of March. Tomorrow, the 2nd of March. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to go all the way through to the year and then start, or whether I'll just go back and read like the first month, nearly 2 months, I suppose. I haven't decided yet, but I figured that's just something, I will read something from this every day. And that's kind of as part of my ongoing project looking at, conflict journalism and diaries and poetry and so on. So yeah, that's that. And then I've started on my March books because I finished the Louise Penny last night, and I finished it quite early in the evening, so I picked up The Splendid and the Vile by Erik Larson as my kind of first of my March reads, and so I'm enjoying it so far. It's really well written. It's some of it's familiar. It starts with the transfer of power from Chamberlain to Churchill, and I don't think Dunkirk hasn't happened yet, and so it's very early at the start of the Second World War. This is mostly focused on Excuse me, this is mostly focused on the Blitz. That hasn't happened yet, but yeah, so I think I'm going to enjoy this. I'm a bit of a Churchill fan, a flawed character though he was. So I think I'm going to, enjoy that. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And that's it. That's my reading week this week, ending 1st of March. If you have been, thank you for watching. What have you been reading this week? Let me know in the comments below, and I will speak to you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.